What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we are looking at IEM Winter 2021. So, two groups, 16 teams, and then we go into a single elimination bracket. Pretty simple stuff. Well, I guess the only complicating matter is that first place of each group get straight into the semis. So that makes it pretty simple. Just pick the teams that get here, and well, even better, make it to the final. And pick the players from these teams that should make it. Let's go team by team here. G2, I guess I'll do it here just to take a look at the price as well. G2, good otherwise, but I guess Kenias is the biggest question mark, not having Nexa on the server. I wouldn't have too high of an amount of expectations for them here. I don't know. Of course, Nico can really step up and carry them, but I wouldn't expect that much after the first game. Of course, first game they play Tyloo, so they should beat that. But if they don't, that's very bad for them if they don't beat Tyloo just because of Kenias. That's bad for Kenias mostly, I would say. But yeah, I would expect G2 to be decent, but not to make it to the finals or anything. Gambit are probably a good team for this. Group B, they play Fnatic, then ends VP. Yeah, I can see Gambit going all the way here. Decent pick, but the players are pretty expensive. So I'm probably gonna stay away from Gambit this time. I don't know, maybe you could go for an Inters or a Nafany. But, I mean, the other players are just very expensive. So I don't know. Who's next? Heroic? Heroic I'm definitely kind of feeling right now. I think they are doing great. They have pretty, I would say, easy opponents first couple rounds. And then, I mean, it's probably going to be Gambit Heroic in here, right? In the upper final of Group B. So, yeah. The only thing I always don't like about Heroic that much about is that they can always, like, they're so even across the board that it's just hard to pick the players who are going to do well, because any of these players can be their best player in any given tournament. Recently it's been Stavn. I remember a time in Stavn was like the cheapest player out of Heroic. Cadian was a lot more expensive at some point. Now he's kind of middle of the pack. Refresh has great events and then bad events. That makes him kind of a better pick because he's less consistent when you look at like overall stats, but then he has those real pop-off events and then kind of lower rating events. So I might be looking at picking Refresh and maybe Storm alongside him, or maybe a Tessus or Shush or even a Cadian. Any one of those makes sense to me. Vitality, I wouldn't put too much stock into them. They've done fine in Blast so far, but I don't know how far they can go, just because they have been I mean, the roster change rumors around them probably are true, and probably that means that we are not gonna see the best Vitality. At least you would expect that, but they are decent as a pick, I would say. Let's see, where they playing. So they play Mouse and then Nip or Astralis. Again, we have a Nip Astralis, by the way. But yeah, I wouldn't expect them to get through this stage. At least through this stage. So then NIP, very disappointing Blast for them. They already got eliminated yesterday against Astralis. No, against Liquid. They lost against Astralis first and then to Liquid. Very disappointing, especially for Device, of course. You can say that Essetec just came in, so that maybe impacts how well they did in that event, but it's hard to say how good NIP are right now. I have some expectations for them. Like, I would expect them to get, like, they should still be better. I don't know. Astralis, the new Astralis is looking really good. But I mean, even like after they lose to Astralis, if they lose to Astralis, they should beat Mouse or probably Vitality. They should beat that, hopefully. But then again, they lost to Liquid, who are completely in ruins right now, so you don't know how it's gonna go. But I still have some pretty okay expectations for NIP. VP, tough to say where they stand. They've only really played the major, and then nothing after that. Yekindar is always reliable. Jame always puts up pretty decent stats at least. We can't really say where Flit stands, or Kiekert or Buster really. It's just such a new lineup with Sanji being kicked for Flit that role-wise it's still a bit of a mess because Sanji was such a hard support player. We don't know if they really have a hard support player anymore. So yeah, I wouldn't gamble on VP here. They also play like Ents and maybe Gambit. And I wouldn't put it past Ents to beat VP. I don't think VP is that great right now. Then we have FaZe. So FaZe got eliminated against Astralis yesterday. Yeah, pretty sure it was against Astralis. Either way, they got eliminated yesterday from Blast. They looked okay. That's kind of my impression of FaZe most of the time. They look okay. Rain had one map, like a nuke, where they completely destroyed. Other than that, not that awesome from them. I don't expect them to do that well. They're playing Big. They probably beat Big, but then they probably lose to Heroic. I think the seeding really favors them in having to play only against Big. And it's decent. Like, they always have this upset potential, I feel. They are capable of pulling, like, beating any team. I almost want to favor them against VP. And then probably they lose here. Then if they play VP again, maybe they win again. But I kind of feel like VP is going to go 0-2 here. And ENCE is going to beat VP, but maybe lose to Fnatic. Maybe beat Fnatic. I don't know. OG, like, this bracket should be good for them. They play Liquid first round. Should always be a win for OG. Then they probably play G2, who are playing with Kenyas instead of their IGL. So it should always be a win for OG. If they don't win that, tough times. The upper final is, like, of course, they make it through either way, right? Even if they don't win the upper final, they make it to the single elimination bracket, which is already, I think, decent enough. And in the upper final, they can lose to Astralis. That's okay. When you look at the results wise, because Astralis is looking great. Even losing to an NIP might be excusable. But I definitely hope OG make it to the upper finals. Do they make it beyond that? Probably not. I think they're probably kinda already looking towards next year. I have this feeling that they are kind of still disappointed probably about not making the major, not making Blast. So they might still have their eyes set on next year. And then the rest of the teams, I guess I'll talk about Fnatic and Astralis a bit. Fnatic have been looking great, and it's awesome to see them play against higher tier opposition. I want to see how they do against Gambit. They have I definitely think they have potential to beat Gambit. They even have potential to go to the upper finals and maybe even win the upper final, I think. I don't know I wouldn't say they're title contenders or anything. But the addition of Smuya has been really good for them. Excited to see how this lineup does. And then Astralis, of course, have been looking great, especially Config. Wow, he's been great. Playmath also seems to fit into the squad well. Lucky being taken off the AWP and put into a rifle role does a lot better now. A lot of things clicking in that squad. Main question mark is still who is like the AWP. Leif has been picking up the AWP now. Is he good enough on the AWP? It's hard to say, right? We've only seen a couple series with this Astralis lineup. And maybe he's gonna still fit into that AWP role, kind of like a KDN or Jamie used to be IGL for VPS as well, while AWPing Fallen, of course. Maybe Glaive is gonna be an IGL AWPer as well. Would be interesting. Godsend and Tyloo, I don't have really any expectations for. I don't think they're gonna do it that well. As well as Mouse, I think I have a hard time seeing them do it well. Liquid, like beat NIP, which is very surprising, but I don't have any expectations beyond maybe pulling an upset against one of these teams. Maybe like they beat Tyloo and maybe they win against the loser of G2 OG, or even beat OG first round. It's possible. Okay, but I've already talked like over 10 minutes about everything, all of these teams. I don't know, I'm just kind of excited about this tournament for some reason. I feel like this could be a banger of a tournament. But let's get into the actual fantasy stuff. I think Heroic is probably gonna be my pick for Group B. They've been really good lately. So my first instinct is to go refresh. Yeah, I think it makes sense to pick refresh. He has, as I said, he has these events that he does really well at. Blast Premier Fall Showdown here, he has EPL 14, really good. So far in the Blast Premier Fall Final, he's been good. Of course, only 2 maps. And then there's some other events where he's been not that great. But I mean, after this, he's been steadily improving. Makes sense to me. Gideon's probably in a downswing right now. Not doing that great. Probably wouldn't pick him right now. He's been like the best player of them, of their team recently. Probably gonna pick him alongside Refresh unless Tessus and Shush are somehow very highly rated, but I don't think that's gonna be the case. Actually, Tessus has been great so far, but only 2 maps. Other than that, average. Shush. Actually, Shush has been great. Like after the challenger stage, he did a lot better. Yeah, but it's only 12 maps is decent. Like you could go Shush refresh or stun Shush as well. I'll have these guys for now, and then like if I can't afford stun, for example, I'll maybe go for Shush. Who do I want to pick from this A group? So OG, I think, or Astralis are like the number 1 and 2 options you should go for. I think I'm gonna go with Astralis. Just Config's been great. You look at this, yeah, Config's the most picked player. I think it makes sense to have Config. And then could go for like one of these guys. I like Lucky, so how's Lucky being rated? Really not that well at Blast Premier Fall. I thought he did better. I guess only 2 maps. This. If you go Blame F config, and we afford like anyone, 171, probably like TZ and Carrigan probably. Carrigan's 172, okay. I don't know which of these 3 I should pick if I don't pick Blame F. And if I go Astralis. course, Glaive has like potential to have pretty good stats just because he is hoping gives him a bit more potential when it comes to stats. Wow, Uzbek's been great. Those 2 maps. I didn't even know that. Lame. Of course, is a really insane player. If we go this and then instead of refresh we go shush, who can we afford? We have 167. Oh well, yeah, okay. I replaced the wrong player with this. So we have 182 grand. I mean, Nico is not a bad one. A-Core. How's A-Core's? Like he had a better event, yeah. I still don't think A-Core is gonna be my pick here. Like these teams are just too good, and I don't think A-Core is good against good teams. Nico makes some sense to me. He had a decent showdown, even though OG didn't get through that. It would be this. So then we don't have main op, but we have config headshots, blame AF on CT rating, refresh and shush. One of them. Okay, so shush support, refresh IGL, eco on. Don't have T rating, guys. Really, except for config, but we already go headshots with him. I kind of like this team. Full Danish team, by the way. I didn't even realize first, but yeah, this is full Danish. Okay, let's have faith in the Astralis, in the new Astralis project. So, port. IGL and rating. I mean, what about multi kills? 1961, 3156, so much better. Oh, entry fragger. That's a high entry percentage. Okay. Of course, like role wise, I can't be as sure about the roles now that Astralis kind of switched. Like it might be better to go entry as Nico. Nico as entry fragger. USCT rating is. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, let's look at boosters. Wow, config top of scorecard. I don't know about NIP. Maybe it's fine. You can do that later as well. 30 bomb, definitely config. This should be also config. There's a lot you want to do with config here. One of those two for bottom scorecard eventually. Choke. Just kind of looking around. Clutch, blame AF. Probably later on. So what are those like KESDs? One of those you want to have now. So I think blame AF SD now. Kobe is one of those you can do now. Nico with Kobe. I think it's quite possible that we go into Inferno between Liquid and OG. Like I would expect OG to probably Inferno a lot of the time. Sorry. Having the hiccups. Headshot percentage, config versus an IP makes sense. I don't think there's big headshot players on that team. Refresh. So like pistol's decent, but I think that's better on config. Flash assist is decent on here, but that's probably a Nico thing. Ace makes sense. Yeah, let's go refresh Ace. And then shush. Knife maybe. Like, I'm expecting I get to use all these boosters anyways. Yeah, you know what? Let's go Rambo and Shush. I'm pretty happy with this squad. Yeah. I'll make a Vardu League, as always. You'll find it in the description down below. You can make a lineup as well. I'll probably make a full OG lineup on that one with Mantu and Valde or whatever. And yeah, just make a lineup. I don't personally throw any boosters on the players in the Vardu League. Let's just make it a thing that let's not use boosters in that, because I think everyone has like everyone always concentrates more on this lineup, right? You can think about your boosters for this one more, and then you don't have to be as worried about the Vardu League boosters. So let's just say don't put boosters on. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and I will see you in the next. Goodbye.